This is a presentation about Hiroshi H. Miyamura, Gallup's hometown hero.
Welcome, student, to Miyamura High School. You have all lived through a very disastrous event, in fact, a world history event, because it affected everyone in the world. And I wish you well in the future. Just try to keep focused on the future because we have a staff, faculty that are willing to help and bring out the very best in you. So your job is to keep focused on an education because you will surely be needing an education to get ahead today. Thank you so very much.
The story of the Miyamura family in Gallup began in 1925 when Hiroshi's parents, Yachi and Tori, moved to town and opened up a 24-hour diner that they named the Lucky Lunch. The Lucky Lunch did not serve Japanese food because Yachi wanted the place to be as American as possible. Hiroshi was the third of 7 children. His mother Tori died when he was 12, and with his father working most of the day, he grew up with little parental supervision.
Hiroshi attended public school in Gallup, and in fourth grade, he received a nickname that would stick with him for the rest of his life. His fourth grade teacher had difficulty pronouncing the name Hiroshi, so she called him Hershey instead. Hershey himself has described his teenage years as his getting into trouble phase. The only thing he really liked about school was sports, especially boxing. He made the school team and competed in Kiwanis Club sponsored boxing matches. He also found that he liked photography and machine shop while in high school. With the U.S. entry into World War II in 1941, Hershey, like many young men from Gallup, was eager to enlist and was assigned to the 442nd Regimental Combat Team, which was comprised of Japanese Americans, and prepared to ship out to Italy with his unit. Before he could leave, however, he was diagnosed with a hernia and was not able to ship out for Italy until May of 1945 and never saw action. He returned to Gallup in July of 1946 and joined the Army Reserve. In 1948, he met Soroko Tsushimori. Her family had just moved to Gallup and she was known as Terry. They were married in 1948 and happily spent the next 66 years together. In 1950, however, the clouds of war were gathering again, with the outbreak of hostilities on the Korean Peninsula, and in August, Hershey received a letter from the U.S. government that his reserve unit had been reactivated.
I tried to enlist in the service, and we were told that we could not. We were classified as 4Cs, which was enemy alien at that time. And a lot of these Japanese American boys were interned in these camps throughout the country, but Many of them volunteered for service. I felt I was an American like anyone else. Well, they said, no, you have to prove yourself because you're at war with the Japanese, and that's our ancestry. We have to prove that we're loyal to this country.
Early in 1944, 18-year-old Hiroshi Miyamura was assigned to the Nisei 442nd Regimental Combat Team, which would gain fame as the most decorated American unit in the war. He shipped out to Europe just as World War II ended, but he would not see combat until 1950, when his unit was called to active duty in Korea.
When we landed in North Korea, it was winter in November. It was the coldest I've ever been in my life. Never received the food that we needed, let alone have the proper clothing or anything like that. Miserable. It was a miserable time. We made our way up to the eastern side of North Korea, near the Chosin Reservoir. In fact, we were so close to the Yellow River, we could, from my position, I could see the enemy massed on the north side of the Yellow River. After the Chinese army moved in, we were told to pull back to the south of the Emchen River. And I was, being the machine gun squad leader, was told to hold this position as long as I could, because we knew we were outnumbered so bad that it would be impossible to hold it.
As night fell, Miyamura and his handful of men sat listening to the approaching sound of Chinese troops banging on pots and pans and blowing whistles. When the noise suddenly stopped, there came a burst of flares, followed by a massive attack. Miyamura and his group opened up with .30 caliber machine gun fire as waves of communist soldiers stormed their position. When the enemy threatened to overwhelm his group, Miyamura rose from his machine gun and charged them, killing 10 by bayonet and rifle fire. He then returned to his gun, and when it jammed, he manned the last working gun and told his men he would cover their retreat.
I realized they were getting behind my position, so I told the members of my squad to withdraw, and I covered their withdrawal. Stayed and covered their withdrawal. Our own artillery started falling on my position, phosphorus bombs. So I realized then they thought everyone was off of the mountain. So I started making my way down, and I ran into an enemy. I bayoneted him, and he had a grenade, and he threw it at me, and I kicked it back, and it went off. I didn't realize then I was hurt, but I made my way down the mountain, which was quite a mountain. But by the time I got down to the base of the mountain, I ran into a barbed wire entanglement, got cut up. I dropped to my knees, I crawled underneath it. I ran until I just dropped. And I laid there, I heard footsteps, a lot of footsteps go right by my position. But I didn't move, and when it died down, I thought I had it made. But a voice in English said, to get up, you're my prisoner.
Miyamura was led, along with his comrades, on a brutal forced march through the withering temperatures and unforgiving terrain of North Korea. The bitter, month-long journey led to a POW camp, where he was to be held captive for the next 27 months.
When the peace talk started, the Chinese said we were going to go home. But that went on for 2 years. My wife wasn't even notified. She just got a letter that I was missing in action. That's because the Communist Army would not release names.
In the summer of 1953, Miyamura was turned over to U.S. authorities at Freedom Village in Panmunjom. He was debriefed and then led out to meet the press, where Brigadier General Ralph Osborne hailed him as the greatest VIP to pass through Freedom Village. But Miyamura had yet to discover why.
I crossed over to our side, and there was a reporter waiting for me to talk to me. And when I walked in that room, the commanding general of my division was standing at a table. And he said, do you know why you're here? And I said, no. He said, you had received the Medal of Honor. I remember all I could say was, what? Until I saw that flag, the Star Spangled Banner, waving in the breeze, that I know. I've learned what it represents. That alone is what makes you feel so humble. So many the fellows that were deserving never came home to any kind of recognition. There are so many Americans that do not know what the medal represents or what any soldier or service woman or man does for his country. And I believe that one of these days, I hope one of these days, they will learn of the sacrifices that a lot of these men and women have made for this country.
A crowd of over 5,000 people gathered in Gallup to welcome Hiroshi back home. Also on hand was the Japanese American Citizens League of New Mexico to welcome Hiroshi home, this time to stay.
We asked Hiroshi what it means to be a hero.
To me, what is a hero? To me, it's a person that will act on instinct and automatically do a heroic deed without any audience at all. It just comes instinctively. So many have done historic deeds that will never be recognized, or he will never receive any honor for that deed. But to me, those are the type of person that I feel need to be honored.
With the Korean conflict in the past, Hiroshi was finally able to return to his normal life with Terry. He worked for several years in a local auto parts store, finally saving up enough money to open a service station in 1960. For the next 25 years, he worked at his West Side service station and raised his three children, Kelly, Mike, and Pat, until his retirement in 1984. Over the years, Hiroshi has attended many ceremonies and other veterans events where he is often an honored speaker. In Gallup, he has been asked to run for mayor, and both political parties approached him to run for office. Each time, he has respectfully declined their offer. Within the town of Gallup, our hometown hero has been honored many times. In 1979, the city dedicated the Miyamura overpass. In 2006, a column at the Gallup Veterans Plaza dedicated to him was completed. In 2007, Ute Navajo artist Orlando Joe completed the statue of Hiroshi that's located at Miyamura High School, itself completed in 2010. In addition, he was honored with a mural downtown that was dedicated in October 2015. The mural is prominently located at the corner of Aztec and 2nd Street.
As the student population in Gallup began to rise and threatened to overwhelm the old Gallup High, it was decided to add another high school. After much deliberation, it was decided that the old high school building, which had been serving as Gallup Junior High, would be the site of the new school. The new school was named Hiroshi Miyamura High School in honor of Hiroshi. To celebrate the honor, a dinner was served to Hiroshi, his family, and honored guests. Since the school was in the midst of remodeling, Several students came a few days early to clean and paint to prepare for the event. It was truly a gala occasion. And the honors kept coming. Then Governor Bill Richardson and Mayor Harry Mendoza issued a proclamation that September 4th, 2010 would be Hiroshi H. Miyamura Day.
Every April 5th is National Go for Broke Day. On this day, we honor all Americans of Japanese ancestry who fought in our country's conflicts, beginning with World War II. It was the motto of Hershey's 442nd Regiment. Go for broke means to wager everything and encourages us to give it our all. No matter our goal, there's a reason to persevere despite all the odds. This has become our school motto. It means that a student here, you are always expected to give your best effort in the classroom and in all aspects of your life, even if it means wagering everything.
We asked Hershey, what is a patriot?
What does it mean to be a patriot? To me, it means that you are a good, outstanding citizen of the country you live in, and you love this country, and you will give your life defending this country.
The Hiroshi H. Miyamura Scholarship Fund was established to help MHS students realize their dreams of higher education.
For those that are seeking an higher education, hope that this Miyamura scholarship will help you along your way. But just keep focused on your education.
Each year, MHS students may apply for the scholarship if they have a 3.5 or higher grade average. Candidates must submit a letter of recommendation and an essay. There will then be an interview process to determine the winners of the $2,000 award. We asked Hershey how he handled his greatest challenge and how MHS students can handle challenges they face.
One of my most challenging events that happened during my lifetime is when I became a POW. And under those conditions, it took a person that would never give up trying to live through all of that. And I always believed that I had a higher being watching over me, and I cannot give up because once you give up, then I know that there's no hope you will succeed. But once you make up your mind you will not give up, you'll always keep trying. And I believe that's what each one of you need to do. There's going to be challenging times during your life, and if you truly believe in yourself, you have to tell yourself that you will not give up until you attain your goal. And I believe that's what helped me live through that particular challenge.
Since our first graduation, Hershey has handed each graduate a challenge coin. The coins are to commemorate the achievement represented by graduation and to remind students to always be prepared to go for broke. The coins are a cherished token for each and every student. Hershey is widely regarded in veteran circles, not only here in Gallup, but across the United States, where he is often requested to speak at events. His rich baritone voice and his humble attitude have inspired many generations. And his calendar fills up quickly. Nevertheless, he always tries to give priority to MHS events. An ATV is decorated patriotically to drive Hershey to the stage. Dubbed the Hershey Mobile, he arrived to cheers from all attending graduation.
So, as you go through your time here at Miyamura High, remember that you are honoring the legacy of a true American hero. Work hard, have fun, be responsible, and never be afraid to go for broke. There's more to learn about Hershey, our American hero. Check out the memorabilia dedicated to Hershey in your library.